Howdy everyone, it's me once again, the one and only Killer Dan. And today I'm continuing my Disney movie marathon because I still have some stuff to review for you folks. Yes sirree. This could be my way of paying tribute to Walt Disney himself in a lot of ways. And yeah, if it wasn't for him, I won't be doing this movie marathon to begin with. So I figured I would review the first Princess Diaries film. Yep, another princess movie I'm reviewing here, folks, because why not, I guess. But of course, as usual, I do have the top of the plot of this particular movie. So let's get into it, shall we? Oh yes, sirree. So we get to see the main character, this woman whom is this average teenager that lives with her artist mother and their cat in this particular remodeled San Francisco house fire home. And she's, I guess you can say, a bit of a somewhat awkward and unpopular teenager girl. And of course, she is terrified of public speaking and often wishes she would be invincible. So, of course, this kind of a thing would play a thing in the general plot because the idea here, she's supposed to blossom into like this beautiful princess later. So, yeah, she's kind of quirky in her own little way, of course. She has a crush on this popular person and is often teased by both him and his cute little girlfriend. Yeah, that's kind of mean-spirited, but okay, I guess. So, yeah, because of this, you can say that our main character has friends in the form of the equally unpopular character and the brother of the female friend who secretly has a crush on her, I guess you can say. So I can say that this film tells the story of her and how she becomes this princess kind of character. So yeah, she eventually becomes this princess and she has to learn to have these manners of a princess and accept this brand new lifestyle of hers, of course. Yeah, it's a new experience for the character, of course, and she kind of has to learn certain manners and whatnot. So in this particular film, we get to see that just before her 16th birthday, our main character learns about her grandmother, whom is visiting from this particular place, which is a small European kingdom. So when our main character goes to meet her at this large house, and this particular person, his grandmother, reveals that she's actually the queen. Oh boy, ain't that something? And that her son is the main character's late father, whom to be crowned prince, I guess you can say. So, because of this news, of course, folks, our main character is stunned to learn that she's actually a princess, and she's to herald to the particular throne of hers. So yeah, our main character here, folks, finds out that she is their parent to be the throne over here, folks. So of course, she has to navigate her life, become this particular individual, folks. And quite honestly, when I first heard about this movie, I felt that it was quite corny at first, but then when I actually watched it, I found myself to be actually enjoying this. It's not that bad, folks. It came out a lot better than I expected it to be, of course. So I thought it would end up being corny, but upon seeing this movie, so I felt that it was actually pretty good, folks. So yeah, all in all, folks, I thought that this film was quite charming in its own little way. Even if the princess character does have her own mannerisms, which is fine because she does have to have her own personality and not just be a cardboard cutout of the other princess characters that Disney had made over the years. So I guess you can say that's a good thing right off the bat. So yeah. And just so everyone will know, folks, Princess Leia is considered as a Disney princess now. So I think that's a cool thing there. So anyway, folks, back to this movie. Yeah, she was kind of this nerdy type of character, but that's fine, of course. So yeah, the film itself is, I guess you can say, a fairy tale in nature. Our main character here, she's a social misfit with terrible hair and no self-confidence at first, anyway. And so yeah, you get to see her daily life, so to speak. So yeah, she has to do what she has to do, of course. And it's altogether a pretty good film, folks. I thought the acting was pretty good. and the overall acting from everybody else is pretty decent, I guess you can say. While this film may not win any awards for best acting, but overall, I thought that actress, the lead actress who played the main character, actually did a pretty good job here, folks. So I guess you can say the theme of this movie is about being yourself and how to better yourself in the long run, which is a positive message to a lot of kids that may be watching this, which is fine, I suppose, or even for adults. And there's some adults out there that are having this low self-esteem. I guess this could be a good positive message film. So all in all, folks, what I'm saying here is that this was a surprising good treat here, folks. Again, at first, I was not expecting a whole lot from this, folks. I thought this was just going to be a mundane, corny film for the entire family, but surprise, surprise, it wasn't all that bad, really, folks. Well, I'm not going to claim this film to be a grand masterpiece or anything, but I felt that this film was solid enough to be viewed by any Disney fan. Yes, I know some Disney fans out there don't really watch these live-action films, but even with them, I would say check this one out, folks, because at the end of the day, it's pretty solid, I guess you can say, because altogether it was actually quite good, I guess. I like the editing. The editing wasn't too bad, I suppose. The music helps the situations to push the story forward. It was altogether a really nice composed film, even with that. So I thought this film was nicely put together as a whole. And I can say that the lighting of this film, the lighting was actually quite good. Film is a visual media type of thing, so lighting is very important, folks. The scenery in which the actors and actresses were in were really well lit, so I did like that right there, folks. So I did think that's a good thing. So there's some effort being done in the scenery. It was really well shot altogether, folks. It was really, really well shot. I mean, okay, the film's overall story may not be all that original, but I still felt that this film was quite charming in its own little way anyway. Yeah, it does have this element of being a bit predictable at times, but at the end of the day, folks, despite all the complaints I might have about this film, I still found myself to be enjoying this film at the end of the day. Like, I felt that there was actually quite some good effort to make this a good movie, folks. So everybody, especially the main actress here, does a pretty good job, folks. So yeah, I was pretty glad that I discovered this film, folks. I really did enjoy this. It was fun to see this particular good movie, folks. And I can say that the director knows what he was doing, and he made everything come up believable, teaching the audience that something good is in the process of the film. It is refreshing to see in a teen movie to be done in this particular manner, folks. So I don't mind it, really fun, folks. Yeah, it might have its moments, sure, but still, altogether, this was a pretty good film, folks. There's a strong cast here, and I can say that everybody on this production of this film was putting lots of effort into it. I mean, it's nothing too heavy, really, folks. It's nothing too dark or gritty, really. I mean, if it was, I don't really don't mind it. If it was hinting at a gloomy, dark scenario kind of a thing. But it doesn't always have to be like that, folks. But altogether, this was a good film. It doesn't have to be as gloomy as the Dark Knight trilogy, really. I mean, quite honestly, I wouldn't mind if it were. I do like that franchise there, but it's its own thing, which is fine, of course. And the thing, folks, I can say that the premise of this film was done pretty well in this, folks. And of course, our main character must educate herself to be the proper princess, of course. Altogether, this was a quite enjoyable film, despite the fact that the premise is a bit cliched, sure, but the dialogue from this film, from the actors and actresses, was quite good, I guess you can say, and quite funny at times, because I thought the humor of this film was actually pretty good, I guess you can say. And yeah, the thing is, I can say the dialogue was well spoken, and the dialogue was definitely well written. The script of this movie was actually quite good as well, folks. I can say that there was actually some effort being done in the script as a whole. Um, I can say that this was an obvious attempt to create their own princess, of course, in the live action realm. So I highly suggest to watch this film, folks. I mean, this film does attempt to be a sweet story about this main character who is turned into a princess. And of course, she must live up to her full potential, obviously. So, altogether, this film is enjoyable for anybody, regardless of age. And yeah, the plot is rather simplistic, but it doesn't have to be a bad thing. A simplistic plot can actually be a great one as well. So altogether, this does have good character development in a way, folks. So yeah, altogether, this was nicely packaged rather well, folks. So yeah, I'll say this film is definitely worth watching altogether. Because of the fact I can say that the outfits are pretty good, folks. And that's another thing I wanted to bring up. The outfits are really nicely done, folks. While this film may not have the biggest budget award, but I can say that Disney Studios did have lots of money being put into this, folks. A reasonable amount. The wardrobes that they wore throughout the entire film is actually quite nice. So yeah, it doesn't come off cheap at all. Yeah, it's not like they went to one of those stores and just bought a ton of cheap clothing for the film or anything. So yeah, yeah, oh boy. Anywho, folks, so yeah, the outfits look really nice in this, of course, and I did appreciate that as a whole. So they didn't go on a cheap on here, folks. I mean, if they had done it, they had to make it work somehow, of course. If they had to do it like that, I guess. But anyway, I can say that the sets in which they used for this particular film was also quite good as well. These sets were nicely produced to give this film a particular look, I guess you can say. I do believe that the set designs are just as important as the outfits, the wardrobes, and whatnot. So yeah, they do give you a sense of where this film is located. And it might have just taken place in just one spot, but still, folks. And I like that. So altogether, folks, this was something I wouldn't mind watching again and again one of these days, folks. Maybe one of these days I can buy the Blu-ray version of this particular film, folks. I'm just reviewing the DVD version, and I can say the picture quality was actually not that bad. The picture quality was actually quite good considering it's a DVD. I might get this on Blu-ray one day, folks. I'm just reviewing the DVD version, and the sound quality in this is actually quite good as well. So maybe one of these days I can actually buy the Blu-ray version, I guess I can say. But yeah, folks, I can say that this may be a family film and all, but I do think that anybody can actually enjoy this film as a whole. So it's really well constructed as a whole, folks, especially in the terms of story, I guess you can say. It does make perfect sense, and it does come out well rounded. So the characters have pretty good motivation to do what they do and whatnot. So it's something you can say that the characters come out rather solid. I do like the characters in this particular movie, folks. I mean, granted, they might be using character tropes in this particular film, but it doesn't necessarily have to be a bad thing if it's done right, I suppose. So it's something that can say that the characters are pretty good as well. They're quirky, like the main character or what have you. So it does have a sense of humor. But then again, Disney always has a sense of humor for their films anyway. So at this point, it pretty much became a trademark of theirs. And of course, that does not have to be a bad thing at all. No siree, folks. So, yeah, this film definitely had some effort being placed into it. And I do wish that lots of films nowadays would do the same thing. And I know this came out like way back in 2001. But I did like this film a lot more than some of the more recent live action films, quite honestly. I wouldn't be surprised if this film was actually remade in a few years. Oh boy, just don't do that. No. We have to repeat this disaster of a princess movie. Man, this was terrible. Oh boy. Again, anyway. So yeah, folks, I would say check this one out if you have not already. Because I honestly think this was quite of a good movie as a whole. I do recommend it because at the end of the day, it was actually quite good. Princess Diaries gets an overall rating of a 6.6 out of 10. It gets a 6.6 out of 10 from me. And of course, as usual, thank you very much for watching, folks, and take care. See ya. Oh yeah.